If you suffer from galleophobia, which is the fear of sharks, you might want to skip this educational experience and find something else to do. Why? Because we're about to take a closer look at some truly massive sea creatures. With that in mind, here are 15 of the biggest sharks ever recorded in the world. Number 15. 20-foot tiger shark in Australia. Tiger sharks may not be the largest sharks in the world, but they are certainly some of the most aggressive. They're responsible for an alarming number of attacks, only coming second to the great white shark. So, you probably don't have a lot of sympathy for the 19.68-foot tiger shark caught off 7 Mile Beach near Lennox Head on the New South Wales northern coast of Australia. Fishermen caught the shark by boat, and Jeff Brooks posted images of it online. According to Jeff, the shark was purposefully caught under a kill order. Apparently, it had been responsible for a local attack. Most tiger sharks grow up to 13 feet long and 1,400 pounds. Larger females can even weigh up to 2,000 pounds. There have also been cases of people hauling in 24-foot tiger sharks, but very few exceed 20 feet. Perhaps what makes tiger sharks more prone to human attacks than other sharks is that they aren't fussy. They have the widest food spectrum of all sharks. They dine on fish, seals, crustaceans, dolphins, squid, and even birds. However, due to fishing by humans and finning, they are a nearly threatened species. Number 14. The Merino Bay shark. Australia seems to have a run of bad luck or good luck depending on how you look at it when it comes to giant sharks. In 2016, a huge shark was spotted 300 feet from the shore of Merino Bay in South Australia. According to the Australian crew who photographed it, it might even be one of the largest that has ever been seen before. Photos of the shark were uploaded to the Shark Alert South Australia Facebook page. The organization said that the Shark Patrol helicopter crew used their jet boat to make a comparison to the shark. They believe it was at least 23 feet long. Of course, without a measuring tape, people are skeptical. James Cook University Marine Sciences professor Colin Simpfendorfer said measuring from photos is difficult. You can, of course, get a sense of its size, but there was nothing in the picture of the water to use as a reference. However, Shark Alert South Australia left a comment that said, "The guys were professionals, so they have full confidence that the shark is of the length they said it was. They believe it was the biggest they had ever seen." Number 13. Great white shark seen near Hawaii. Seeing a great white shark of any size can put the fear of God in you. After all, you only need to watch the movie Jaws to know what they are capable of. Still, there's something quite exciting about being able to say you've seen the largest ever recorded great white shark in person. That is exactly what some divers got to say. The water was crystal clear, making the encounter even more surreal as Deep Blue's massive silhouette glided effortlessly through the blue. The divers described the moment as both awe-inspiring and humbling, with the shark's sheer size making even the nearby tiger sharks look small. Deep Blue's calm demeanor surprised everyone, as she moved slowly and gracefully, almost as if she was aware of her celebrity status. At one point, she swam so close that the divers could see the scars and markings on her skin, each one telling a story of survival in the wild. The experience left the divers with a newfound respect for these ancient predators, and they later said it was a once-in-a-lifetime moment. The encounter quickly went viral, with people around the world marveling at the photos and videos. People diving near Oahu, a Hawaiian island, were able to capture photographs of the great white shark nicknamed Deep Blue. The 2.5-ton shark is thought to be around 50 years old. It has been tagged by scientists more than 20 years ago after it had been spotted off the coast of Mexico. The divers, Mark Moeller and Kimberly Jeffries, had seen Deep Blue eating a dead sperm whale and were able to swim alongside it while it ate. We're not sure if that's brave or a bit stupid, really. They were also able to capture video of it feasting on the whale, which happened after tiger sharks made the initial whale discovery. As you can imagine, they made a quick departure after spotting the giant great white shark. Number 12. Teenage shark named in top 5 legendary sharks. In 1983, Albertan fisherman David McKendrick was fishing off Prince Edward Island when he made a shocking discovery. He had just caught a 17-foot great white shark in his net. By the time he pulled it to the surface, he had realized the ginormous creature was dead. News of the catch spread quickly through the small fishing community, drawing crowds to the dock to catch a glimpse of the massive predator. Local newspapers ran front-page stories, and marine biologists traveled from across Canada to examine the rare specimen. The shark's jaws alone were wide enough to fit a grown man, and its teeth gleamed like ivory daggers. Some fishermen joked that they'd never swim in those waters again, while others marveled at the sheer power and mystery of the ocean. The event sparked debates about what else might be lurking in the cold Atlantic depths, unseen by human eyes. For weeks, the story dominated conversations in seaside pubs and bait shops. Roll the clock forward 3 decades, and you may be wondering why the shark is still being talked about. Well, according to Warren Joyce from the Canadian Shark Research Laboratory in Bedford, It's one of two of the largest measured sharks in the world. The female shark was a mere teenager of 19 years old when it was caught, which meant its size was phenomenal. As a result, it has been named one of the Discovery Channel's top 5 legendary sharks. Not only was the size of this shark surprising, but the location in which it was found was too. There usually are only reports in the area of great white sharks every 2 to 3 years. In 130 years, there have been only a few dozen recorded instances of great whites in the area. Number 11. Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 13-foot hammerhead shark. When you go fishing on a pier, you might expect to catch a small fish or two to feed your family for dinner. What you don't expect is for a 13-foot hammerhead shark to launch itself onto your fishing pole. A family was having a lovely day at the beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, when they watched two people with a fishing pole struggle with what seemed like a giant fish off the pier. But it was no large fish, it was an enormous shark. The crowd on the pier quickly gathered, phones out, capturing the wild scene as the powerful hammerhead thrashed in the surf. The sheer size of the shark stunned everyone, its distinctive head sweeping side to side as it fought against the line. Some onlookers gasped, while others shouted encouragement to the anglers, who were clearly battling both adrenaline and nerves. The pier creaked under the commotion, and a few people even backed away, wary of the shark's unpredictable movements. For a moment, it seemed like the shark might snap the line and disappear, but the anglers held on with determination. The rare encounter became the talk of the beach, with people sharing videos and stories for days afterward. What's unique about this situation is that the shark was hooked from a pier hundreds of feet from the beach. Rarely do large hammerheads explore shallow areas of a beach. An angler and Ryan Bolash, who is the creator of the YouTube channel Infinity Fishing Team, acted quickly to cut the wire dangling from the hook in the shark's mouth. By doing so, they gave the shark a chance of survival. This was essential, given that hammerhead shark numbers are in decline. Ryan said the best thing to do is to bring them out of the water and back into it in under 2 minutes. That, he said, takes a lot of experience. Now it's time for today's topic. On the morning of May 3, 2025, residents of a small coastal town in Queensland, Australia, woke to a chilling sight. A massive hammerhead shark, unlike anything ever recorded, washed ashore on a secluded beach. The shark, measuring an unprecedented 30 feet in length, dwarfed the largest known specimens of its kind, leaving marine biologists and locals in shock. Authorities quickly cordoned off the area, declaring the beach off-limits to the public. Scientists from the Australian Marine Research Institute were called in to examine the creature. Initial observations revealed scars and deformities on its body, suggesting it had survived extreme conditions in the deep ocean. Its teeth were abnormally large, and its eyes appeared adapted for low-light environments, hinting at a life spent in the abyss. What baffled researchers most was the shark's size. This defies everything we know about hammerheads, said Dr. Emily Carter, a marine biologist. There's no explanation for how it grew this large. Speculation ran wild. Some theorized the shark had been exposed to deep-sea radiation or environmental anomalies. Others whispered about ancient, undiscovered ecosystems in the ocean's depths. As the carcass was transported for further study, locals reported strange sounds coming from the water that night, fueling fears of what else might be lurking beneath. Number 10. The Monster of Kojimar. In 1945, fishermen around Kojimar were convinced that something massive was lurking in the waters around the north coast of Cuba. In fact, they were sure it was a giant sea monster. They had been noticing that their entire floating fishing rigs were going missing, which was not only expensive but frustrating. That wasn't all, either. Sometimes they were only pulling in hooked heads with the entire bodies of their catches missing, and those same fish, if they had been intact, would weigh over 500 pounds. The local tavern buzzed with wild stories and nervous laughter as fishermen swapped tales of the mysterious thief. Some claimed to have seen a monstrous fin slicing through the waves at dusk, while others swore they heard splashing and thrashing in the dead of night. Nets were reinforced, and superstitions grew, with some crews refusing to fish after dark. The fear was so real that a few seasoned fishermen even considered giving up their trade. Yet, curiosity and pride kept most of them coming back, determined to solve the mystery. Jose Hernandez and Juan Yuca, two fishermen, noticed a huge shadow in the water around them and a massive wake that was following their line. It was like a suspenseful scene in a horror movie. It was then that they decided they had to catch this monster, and it caused enough frustration. As it turns out, the sea monster that had been stealing all the fish was a great white shark, the swaggering bully of the deep. This one, in particular, was bigger than most. When they eventually managed to catch the shark, it weighed 7,100 pounds and measured over 21 feet long. Given that fishing boats of the 1940s were only around 18 feet long, or a few select cruisers up to 38 feet, the shark would prove to be a huge menace and danger if left. So, as they had to, they took care of the problem. Number 9. 1,300-pound mako shark. It seems that the winning recipe for hauling in that giant catch is chopped mackerel and ground chum, or so fishermen say who caught a 1,323-pound mako shark off the coast of Huntington Beach in 2013. Deep Blue is a very large, big female shark. The fishing boat's captain, Matt Potter, owns a store called Mako Matt's Marine, and he and his friends go sport shark fishing many times throughout the year. They were on the final day of a 3-day trip when they spotted the fins of what looked like a mako shark. The excitement on the boat was electric as everyone scrambled to get their gear ready. The ocean was unusually calm, making the sudden appearance of the massive dorsal fin even more dramatic. As the shark circled the boat, its sleek body glided just beneath the surface, giving the fishermen a glimpse of its impressive size. The crew knew they were in for a challenge, and adrenaline surged as the shark finally took the bait. The initial tug nearly pulled the rod from Jason Johnston's hands, and everyone shouted instructions over the roar of the wind and waves. For a moment, it seemed like the shark might break free, but teamwork and determination kept the line tight. The fishermen spent around 2.5 hours bringing in the massive shark on giant hooks. One of the fishermen, Jason Johnston, harness hooked himself to the boat and shark, and Frankie Milanazzo tied the shark to the side of the boat. Scripps Institution of Oceanography Fisheries research biologist Nick Wegner said the shark would likely set a new angling record. He had heard of 1,400 to 1,500-pound mako sharks being harpooned, but not any in this way, so close to shore. The men took the shark to a processing plant to weigh it and put it in the freezer. It would be used for research. Number 8. Great white shark caught in Mexico. There's only one word to describe a great white shark, and to us, it's terrifying. They are a large mackerel shark found in coastal waters in most oceans. They quite often grow up to 20 feet long and can even weigh up to 5,000 pounds. That's about a third as heavy as a T-Rex. These sharks can live for around 70 years, which makes them the longest living cartilaginous fish. However, they take 26 years to reach maturity, and females are 33 before they're ready to produce young. Imagine waiting more than 2 decades just to be considered an adult in the shark world. During that time, young great whites must avoid predators, compete for food, and learn to hunt with precision. Their favorite prey includes seals, sea lions, and sometimes even dolphins, which they ambush with incredible speed and power. The force of a great white's bite is so strong it can crush bone in a single snap. Scientists have even observed them leaping out of the water in pursuit of prey, a behavior called breaching that is both awe-inspiring and terrifying to witness. Despite their fearsome reputation, great whites are actually quite curious and sometimes investigate boats or floating objects just to see what they are. But young or old, they are scary to see in person, especially if you come across them accidentally. 2 fishermen in Mexico learned this firsthand when they accidentally caught a 2,000-pound, 20-foot great white in their fishing net. They were fishing in the Sea of Cortez off Sonora State when they made their discovery. Fortunately for them, the shark was dead. Otherwise, it would likely have overpowered them and their boat, and who knows what would have happened next. They aren't likely to forget this fishing experience in a hurry, that's for sure. Number 7. Slash the shark. In 2013, a special shark called Slash was the poster boy for Discovery Channel's Shark Week, which well and truly put New Zealand on the map. Slash is a 16.4-foot great white shark with a bad attitude and a giant gash around his mouth. According to the Shark Week documentary creators, he is a local legend. His dramatic encounters with divers and researchers have become the stuff of local folklore, with many claiming to have seen his distinctive scar slicing through the water. Some tour operators even offer Slash spotting trips, hoping to give visitors a glimpse of the famous shark. The notoriety has made Slash a symbol of both respect and caution among the Stewart Island community. Marine scientists have used his story to educate the public about the importance of shark conservation and the challenges of tagging such powerful animals. Slash's presence has also inspired a wave of interest in shark tourism, drawing adventurers from around the world to New Zealand's southern waters. Despite his fearsome reputation, many who have encountered him describe a sense of awe rather than fear, marveling at his size and resilience. The huge shark didn't get his name by accident, either. The Department of Conservation and NIWA, the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research, had attempted to tag the shark to track its movements. Needless to say, the task was botched, and Slash now bears the scars. Eventually, these will heal. Believe it or not, Stewart Island in New Zealand has some of the largest and most aggressive great whites on the planet, along with Fiordland and the Chathams. Hundreds of them migrate to the area during the summer, then head towards the tropics for winter. Surprisingly, given the large population of sharks in the area, the country sees very few attacks. There have been 2 fatalities in the past 2 decades and 115 recorded attacks since the 1800s. Number 6. Great white shark in Kangaroo Island. In 1987, Shark lovers in Australia were blown away to discover that one of the largest sharks in the world ever recorded was on their own shores. A great white shark was captured near Australia's Kangaroo Island, and it was thought to be at least 23 feet long. In saying that, there have been a lot of arguments around this measurement since that day. The story quickly spread through the local fishing communities, with many old-timers recalling the day the massive shark was hauled ashore. Newspapers ran dramatic headlines, and curious crowds gathered at the docks to catch a glimpse of the enormous predator. Some witnesses described the shark's head as being nearly as wide as a car, and its teeth were said to be the size of a man's hand. The event sparked a surge of interest in shark research, with universities sending teams to study the remains and collect data. Local legends grew, with some claiming the shark was even larger than reported, while skeptics insisted the measurements were exaggerated. The debate became a fixture in Australian fishing lore, inspiring both awe and caution among those who ventured into the deep waters around Kangaroo Island. A shark expert by the name of J.E. Randall suggested that the shark was between 19 and 21 feet long, but I.K. Ferguson said it was between 17 and 19 feet long. So what was it? A team of scientists decided to get to the bottom of it. They reviewed the case information relating to the find and conducted a morphometric analysis of the shark remains and photographic evidence. Their goal was to validate the original measurements. What they found was reasonably consistent with that first record. In all likelihood, the Kangaroo Island great white shark really was 23 feet long, which wouldn't be surprising. It's a well-known fact that great white sharks live around Australia and New Zealand. They will seek out the warmer waters depending on what time of the year it is. Number 5. Malta shark. Shark experts always find themselves in arguments. The ocean has so many mysteries that it can be hard to prove or disprove anyone's theories. But when it comes to a task that's as easy as measuring something, it shouldn't be that hard, should it? Apparently, it is, because a shark caught in Malta is still being argued about decades later. The story of the Malta shark has become a favorite topic at marine biology conferences, with heated debates often breaking out over the true size of the catch. Some locals even claim to have seen old photographs showing the shark stretched out beside a fishing boat, dwarfing the men who caught it. Over the years, the tale has taken on a life of its own, inspiring documentaries, articles, and even a few tall tales in seaside taverns. The controversy has also attracted amateur sleuths who have tried to track down original measurement records or locate the shark's preserved jaws. Despite the lack of consensus, the Malta shark remains a point of pride for many in the local fishing community, who see it as proof that their waters can produce giants. The debate has also highlighted the challenges of verifying historical records in marine science, especially when memories fade and evidence is lost. Even today, young fishermen in Malta grow up hearing about the legendary catch, fueling their dreams of one day landing a record breaker themselves. In 1987, Alfredo Kojimar captured a great white shark off the coast of Filfla in Malta. He measured it at 23.7 feet long and with a weight of 6,349 pounds. When he and John Abella were interviewed about their shark in the mid-1990s for a documentary called Jaws in the Mediterranean, their story changed. All of a sudden, the shark was 23 feet long. John confirmed that, too. They said they had laid the shark on the floor and measured it twice and that it was 23 feet in length. But according to Isabel Mayet and Joan Barrel, two Spanish shark researchers, the jaw of the shark showed that it would have been between 21.92 feet and 22.34 feet. All these years later, those numbers continue to be disputed. Shark experts have pored over the records and are yet to agree. What's more, a book by Richard Ellis and John E. McCosker called The Great White Shark discounts the fisherman's claims. Number 4. Great white sharks off Nova Scotia coast. Two huge great white sharks were discovered by American researchers off the coast of Nova Scotia in late 2019. The first was a 13-foot great white, which appeared to have been savagely attacked by something even larger. The shark, which they named Vimy, had clearly been in a scuffle of some sort. The discovery sparked a wave of excitement and speculation among marine biologists and shark enthusiasts around the world. Some experts suggested that the waters off Nova Scotia might be a hidden hotspot for massive great whites, drawing in both researchers and thrill seekers. The OCEARCH team used advanced tracking technology to monitor the shark's movements, hoping to learn more about their mysterious migratory routes. Local fishermen reported seeing unusually large fins breaking the surface in the weeks leading up to the discovery, adding to the sense of mystery. The research vessel became a temporary hub for media crews eager to document the unfolding story, and social media buzzed with theories about what kind of giant predator could have left such marks on Vimy. The incident also reignited debates about the presence of super sharks in the Atlantic, with some speculating that even larger individuals might be lurking in the deep. US-based OCARCH founding chairman Chris Fisher said the shark was covered in scars, with a fresh wound along its head. He said that while the shark was the biggest they had caught, it was clear it was not the biggest out there. They believe what bit Vimy would have been at least 13 feet. Chris believes another male shark fighting for a mate may be to blame. Otherwise, it could be a larger female who didn't want to be alongside Vimy. Researchers also caught a 15.4-foot shark, which they called Anamaki. This shark was also up there in size. She was the second largest they had ever caught, only beaten by Mary Lee, a shark they had found in Cape Cod. Anamaki appeared to be in far better shape than Vimy, that's for sure. Number 3. 1,000-pound tiger shark. Tiger sharks typically range in size between 10 feet 8 inches to 13 feet 11 inches. They also usually weigh between 849 pounds to 1,400 pounds. So, imagine any shark lover's delight to come across one at the pointy end of those measurements. The waters around the Bahamas are known for their clarity, making encounters with large marine life even more dramatic and unforgettable. Black-to-Page, who is famous for his adrenaline-filled fishing videos, had his camera rolling the entire time, capturing every heart-pounding moment. As the tiger shark circled the boat, viewers could see its distinctive stripes and powerful build, a reminder of why these predators command so much respect. The excitement on board was palpable, with the crew shouting directions and scrambling to keep the massive fish from snapping the line. For a few tense minutes, it was unclear whether the shark would break free or if they would manage to get a closer look. The video quickly went viral, drawing millions of views from people fascinated by the raw power and unpredictability of the ocean. Many commented on the sheer size of the shark and the skill required to handle such a formidable catch. You would be both excited and terrified at the same time. A YouTuber by the name of Black-to-Page was bottom fishing in the Bahamas around the Old Bahama Bay Resort when he used his Shimano Tiagra 130 to hook a tiger shark. He estimated that it was about 14 feet long and nearly 1,000 pounds. The fisherman had started his day of fishing in front of the resort, where he caught a yellowfin snapper. He then decided to travel north to go wahoo fishing, but the oceans were too rough. So, he decided to check out the shallow water and see what he could come up with. He first hooked a reef shark, but out of nowhere came a tiger shark. It swam to the boat and took the reef shark directly off his fishing line. Number 2. Monster great white shark. One of the biggest sharks in the world ever recorded was a 20-foot, 8-inch great white shark captured by Vic Hislop in 1987. If you're a shark enthusiast and the name Vic Hislop sounds familiar, then there's a reason for that. Vic, who hails from Stanthorpe, Queensland, in Australia, was a shark hunter. His reputation grew not just from his catches, but from the dramatic stories he shared with the media and local communities. He often recounted tense moments at sea, describing how the sheer size and power of these sharks could shake even the most seasoned fishermen. Some of his expeditions became the stuff of legend, with tales of boats nearly capsizing and sharks thrashing so violently that the water would churn white with foam. Hislop's methods were controversial, drawing criticism from conservationists who argued that his approach was outdated and harmful to marine ecosystems. Despite this, he maintained a loyal following among those who saw him as a fearless adventurer. His exploits were even featured in several documentaries, further cementing his status as a polarizing figure in the world of shark hunting. The world understands that sharks are an essential part of the ocean's ecology, but Vic had other ideas. He said that sharks were God's mistake and that it was his mission to kill them and correct that mistake. Vic has also claimed that the Australian government has covered up fatal shark attacks by recording them as drownings. He believes that it did so to protect the country's tourism. Vic said, "At least 100 swimmers disappear every year, and their bodies are never found. Many have been eaten. I've often caught sharks and removed human hands and feet from their stomachs. I even found a human foot still in its sandal." While he supports the protection of whale sharks, sand tiger sharks, and other harmless species, he's definitely not that forgiving with the likes of great whites. Number 1. Ledge Point shark. One of the largest sharks ever recorded in the world was near Ledge Point in Western Australia in 1987. The shark was 19.7 feet, and the confirmation of its title as one of the largest comes from shark expert J.E. Randall and an American ichthyologist and coral reef fishes leading authority. Ledge Point is a coastal township north of Perth. The area is famous for its rugged coastline and crystal-clear waters, which attract both tourists and marine researchers alike. Local fishermen often share stories of massive shadows gliding beneath their boats, fueling legends about what might be lurking below. In fact, some residents claim to have seen fins slicing through the water at dawn, vanishing before anyone could get a closer look. The community has even hosted annual shark spotting events, drawing enthusiasts from across the country hoping to catch a glimpse of these giants. Marine biologists have used the region as a case study for shark migration patterns, noting that the waters off Ledge Point seem to be a favorite stopover for particularly large specimens. The presence of such enormous sharks has led to increased safety measures for swimmers and surfers, including shark nets and regular patrols. It services the local crayfishing and fishing industries and is a well-known windsurfing venue, too. But you may not be in too much of a hurry to dip your feet in the water if you knew there was a nearly 20-foot shark lurking beneath the surface. While the discovery of the enormous shark was decades ago, that doesn't make the threat of other sharks any less relevant. In fact, the Ledge Point shark find location is just 12.5 miles south of where a great white shark attack happened in 2012. Surfer Ben Linden was paddling his surfboard when the 16.4-foot shark attacked in the ocean off Wedge Island. According to the fisheries minister, Norman Moore, it could have been in the area for days leading up to the attack. If you're now wide-eyed, on edge, and as pale as a ghost, we don't blame you. Some of these sharks were not only enormous but also truly terrifying to see. Have you ever seen a shark in real life? So, how big was it? Don't forget to check out our other cool content appearing on your screen right now. See you next time.